So there's a question I think a lot of people should be asking themselves and also their friends and family members and other people that they know. You got to ask yourself and them, are you okay with being a minority in Canada? I recently asked this on somebody's stream a little while ago, sometime today, and I asked, and this guy was, you know, a person of color, and I asked, so what do you think about white Canadians becoming a minority? And the reason I asked this because he was talking about Alberta and how a lot of people there were saying some fairly racist stuff, some of the conservatives there, and that's why he kind of unfollowed them. But I think that a lot of people, what they don't realize, what a lot of people of color that are conservative don't realize also, and we start to see a little bit more racism and stuff coming out of certain people, is because we are being replaced in our own countries, and we start to see how the government is giving preferential treatment to women and immigrants, minorities and stuff within Canada. And that obviously is going to get a lot of people mad because it's unfair. Now, the blame shouldn't necessarily be put on you or women or anybody like that, because at the end of the day, it is the government that is supplying this stuff, that is giving this stuff out. But this is just another example of how the government creates division within people. But when I asked that question in the chat, how do you feel about white Canadians being replaced? And he responded with something like, is Canada really white? It's I hate to say it, but it really is a country of immigrants and all this stuff. And just saying stuff like that, I don't think he realizes it, but this is going to enrage a lot of Canadians, conservatives, people that would gladly team up with you or have you team up with them if a lot of people would just acknowledge that Canada is not a country for the whole world. It's not a country for all immigrants in the world. Now, you can say, oh, it was built on immigrants, but guess what? It was built on immigrants primarily from Europe and, Irish, French, English, German. It was mostly these people that came here and founded the country and built it for what it is today. And most people agree with inheritance. They all agree that, hey, if your dad owned something, you should be allowed to have it afterwards. He should be allowed to leave it to you. I think most people will agree to that premise. You start off a conversation about inheritance. Say, do you believe in inheritance? Do you think it is right and it is a good principle? And if they agree yes, then they should agree that Canada is for us, is for old stock Canadians. And that doesn't mean we need to kick out all the people of color and stuff that are here already, that are citizens now. But we need these people to team up with us as well, these people of color who call themselves conservatives, and fight to keep Canada a majority white nation. Now, that may, ruffle a few feathers or whatnot, but this is necessary. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't care if Canada in the future is filled with the conservatives that are Asian, black, and white, and all these multi-ethnic conservatives, which that's not going to happen, first of all. The conservatives that we see that are people of color on Twitter and YouTube, these people are a minority of people and don't represent the majority of people coming in. So the people of color that are conservatives and all this stuff, you yourself should want Canada to remain a majority white nation, because that is going to ensure we still have all the freedom of speech, all the rights that you enjoy right now in Canada, because you left your countries initially to come here, right? So if you want it to stay the same, then you should also want it to be majority white. And you're going to start seeing more racism and bigotry or whatever coming from the right eventually, because they are being gaslit. They're being told, oh no, you're racist because you want to keep your culture the same, because you don't want to wake up and look around your city, your community, your town, and have it look completely different than it did before. No culture in any country wants to be replaced, even if it's with somebody that has the same values as them. You know, we could have a whole honor culture here in Canada. Doesn't mean the Chinese or the Japanese people are going to want us to come and replace them because we have a similar culture. Now, you know, he started, like I said, giving me the responses and, like, you know, what is really white, and it's a country of immigrants and all this stuff. But, you know, like I said, the majority of the stuff he talks about and criticizes and stuff I agree with. But, you know, this is going to be a subject, an issue in the future if it's not addressed right now. And it's going to create more of a divide. And, you know, at the end of the day, these people of color who are conservatives should be grouping with us. And, you know, people shouldn't be bigoted towards them and reverse either to scare them away. But, you know, us saying we want Canada to be a majority white country again, to stay majority white, is not racist, it's not bigoted, it's not anything like that. It's just having a country that was initially supposed to be left for us. You know, like I said, if you can get them to agree on inheritance, then they should agree that Canada today was built and created and settled by our ancestors, and they had no intention of working this hard, of risking their life to go across the fucking ocean, you know, building up the land from nothing. They had no intention of doing all that if they didn't have the opportunity to leave it to their children at some point. They weren't thinking, oh, I'm going to go to Canada, to this new world, build it all up, and then hopefully all these immigrants from the third world are going to come and populate it. That wasn't their dream. That was not what they wanted. So, you know, enough of this bullshit, immigrant, land of immigrant, all this stuff. No, no, no. Canada, America, and the rest of Europe is primarily for white people. Doesn't mean we can't have some multiculturalism, some diversity and stuff in there, but they need to remain a majority white nation. That's the only way that you guys are going to have your freedoms and all this shit that you want and you like so much, and the conservative values. Because guess what? Like I said before, you are a minority among your people. The majority of those people, maybe they're socially conservative, but they're still voting for the left. And that's not going to change in the future. That's, if it does, maybe a little bit, but not drastically. So, you know, I think that people should have empathy for white people. I know that there's very little of that goes around, but I think they should have empathy for white people of not becoming a minority in their own countries, because nobody wants to be a minority in their own country. You know, like this, it's bullshit that people just kind of like fluff it off and brush it off and be like, you know, just tough it out, and you guys, you're it's not going to be your country in 10, 20 years. Just get used to it. Well, you know, you're just going to start to drive away more people who would support you if you could at least acknowledge, be like, yeah, man, I don't want you guys to be replaced here either. You know, I want to live here. I want you to live here too. I don't want you to leave, especially if your family's been here for a long time. But, you know, at the end of the day, we need you guys to agree with us that it's not okay for white people to become a minority in their own countries. So like I said before at the start of the video, start asking people these questions. Asking them, are you okay with becoming minority in the future? This will start to get them to think, to start to wake up a little bit. And same with people of color and stuff that you know. See, that's a good, it's not a abrasive way of asking or anything. Say, so what do you think of white people becoming minority in 2040 in Canada? And see what they say. And that what they say will kind of tell you all you really need to know about them. But doesn't mean you can't convince them that, you know, white Canadians do deserve Canada and stuff. But, you know, at the moment, it does let you know where their frame of mind is, judging by how they respond to you. But with that, because you'd be surprised, a lot of them will say, yeah, actually, you know, I don't want Canadians to lose their home. And you'd be surprised how many people of color actually support it. And then, once again, then you'll find other people that say, well, it's not really your country, all this stuff, and they're all conservative, just like you, and believe a lot of the same things. So if they say that, then are they really your ally at the end of the day? Yes and no, because we're going to be, sorry, the screen went blank, but we're going to be replaced, and that's not okay. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe, and have a good day. See ya.